Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to episode 191 of the Backstage Slam. I am one of your hosts, Josh, joined, as always, by the guy from Hawaii, Mr. Ben. Ben, what's up, man?
Welcome to be back. I'm not 100%, but I'm good enough to talk.
That's good enough for me. In the meantime, it's been, interesting lately around the old Semicore offices without you shambling about asking where your next cup of coffee is going to come from. Or that might have been a dream I had. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's been pretty vexing listening to you and two lovely ladies talk about Velveteen Dream's EP and other wacky stuff on the podcast that we normally don't talk about. Pretty interesting.
Well, one, you gotta keep it interesting. And the Velveteen Dream segment, I thought, it did that a little bit. It's not something we would normally go into, but it was a pretty serious allegation. And since we could get a couple of, perspectives from the fairers of the sexes on here, I figured, why not? Let's go into it. And maybe, just maybe, I won't be sued.
We won't be sued.
In the meantime, well, you had a lot of plausible deniability in that, since I didn't let anybody know we were going to talk about that. So I probably shouldn't have said that out loud in public. But here we are, episode number 191. Good to be here. With Money in the Bank looming in the distance. The
yes.
Not too distant distance tomorrow. Looking forward to it?
Just the Money in the Bank matches. I'm not going to be watching the entire pay-per-view live. I will catch bits and pieces of it on YouTube for sure. I posted this on Twitter because a lot of people have been messaging me like, "Hey, get better, miss you on the podcast, blah blah blah." What do you think about like the questions? Well, the same 10 people that I talk about wrestling with on my Twitter is, how do you feel wrestling is different without crowds? And I was like, you know what? It's kind of tough to watch it. At the beginning of it, there was some shock value, and it's like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is unique. It's never been done before. I've never seen it before. 9 weeks later, it's, oh my God, I can't stand it. It's like, not just that. If you take a look at how AEW is doing things, and even with NXT, there's nobody there. There's nobody at ringside. And for me, it kind of just sucks the energy out of me. It really does. I don't know if it's an immersion killer or not, but even having like 10 talent, 5 on one side of the ring, 5 on the other side of the guardrails, a couple of heels, a couple of baby faces would do WWE, all the wonders, because the fans are part of the show. And then just having a blank arena with nothing but listening to Michael Cole do his Michael Cole-isms, it just gets mind-numbing. It's monotonous, and it really takes me out of it. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's just really hard to watch WWE. And not only that, Joshua, I think a lot of people's sentiments on social media is also the same in that regard, in which ever since they went to the Performance Center, it just feels like WWE doesn't give two shits about their content. It's like they're phoning it in. I don't get it. A lot of the decision making is not working. And I think the only bright spot with it, since everything moved to a more intimate, closed space, is the whole Otis, Sonya Deville, and and Mandy storyline is the only bright spot. Everything else is just done before. It's like they're taking everything that they've did over the last 10 years and they're just redoing everything with different people in those spots.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
That's why they're like, that's why there's no intrigue going into Drew McIntyre's first title defense. That's why a lot of people think that there's going to be a screwy finish with the Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt Universal title match. It's like, we all know it's destined to fail because they didn't put any effort into making it intriguing. While if you look at AEW on Dynamite, dude, the amount of depth in telling stories and building and building and building, they're doing such a good job that WWE could easily copy them. But I don't know. Let's just say I'm using the safe excuse. Let's just say I'm protecting WWE and saying, oh, but AEW has one pay-per-view every 3 months while WWE has a pay-per-view every month. And it's not fair. Okay, fine. They can have that. But that doesn't excuse the fact that WWE, even NXT, is starting to be boring. While they do, NXT still has really good in-ring matches, the excitement of debuting wrestlers like Killer Cross, Carry On Cross, and all that stuff. It's cool, but they don't have talent at ringside making noise. They don't have a small group of baby faces, a small group of heels, 6 feet away from each other, giving ambient sound. And it makes all the difference for me. And that's the biggest problem I have with this whole thing. And I just want everything to go back to normal, Josh.
Okay. Everything you said was absolutely fair. I can't dispute any of it. It has been weird. No audiences. I think, and I know what's going to happen when I say this, so I expect it. I'm ready for it. AEW has been doing it better. I mean, just better. I don't know what other word.
Did you see their tweet? Did you see their tweet?
No,
that I posted in the Discord.
Mm-mm.
They have like a AEW Dark card coming out this Tuesday on YouTube that has like 9 matches.
Oh, I did see that.
Did you? I was like, this is gonna be like a 2-hour AEW Dark episode, dude. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's like 3 times, if not 4 times, as much Dark content that we've ever had. The most matches in Dark I've seen was 3 matches. I was like, geez, they have like 9 or 10 matchups going on here. It's crazy, Josh.
So you talked about, getting talent out into the not necessarily the stands, but around the ring. Mm-hmm. Do you agree that AEW getting the talent around the ring is making a big difference as far as the experience goes?
Not only that, but they also brought in some of the talent's family members that also live in that general vicinity of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Been coming in this past Wednesday, Dynamite. They actually let limited people show up, like a couple of people that work for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They bought some tickets. This is like they told like Tony Khan was like, you guys can go in for free, and they're like, no, I'll pop $80 to show up, and you can donate it to wherever. They actually had people, and then there's a couple of people on Twitter. It's like, hey, I work in the city. I randomly showed up just to see if I could catch a glimpse of Dynamite, and the security in the area said, hey, you want to come in? You want to come in and watch the show? And they let them in, and they let them watch the Dynamite. So there were a very limited amount of fans, at least at Daly's place, especially during that big street fight that spilled into the Jaguar Stadium. Mm. I think it's going on right now. There's a UFC event going on right now. There's, it's actually big headline. Yeah, it's a big headline thing because one of the fights, a well-known fighter, Jacare Souza, during the weigh-ins and stuff like that, he tested positive for COVID-19, and not just him, but two his coaches in his corner also tested positive. He was wearing a mask. He was wearing rubber gloves for the weigh-ins and stuff like that when the test came out, right? And there was a big moment last night, or should I say yesterday afternoon, on Twitter, when there was a bunch of popular UFC fighters that showed up to promote the event that are not fighting tonight. They were in close proximity to all of the fighters back there, and Jacare and the two guys and the two coaches that also had, they were all wearing masks and rubber gloves. All the fighters were. But then there were people doing Instagram live feeds, Twitter live, Periscope videos, stuff like that. And then there was a moment where Dana White himself fist bumped Jacare Souza. And I was like, oh crap. Oh no. I was like, I remember him doing that this morning, and then 6 hours later, it was confirmed that he contracted the virus. It's like, oh my God, what? But that they took every precaution. Like, the fighters were only very, very close, in close proximity for the press conference, for the weigh-ins and all that stuff, and then everybody just kind of scattered. But still, hopefully, I didn't see any news on this yet. My number one go-to news for MMA is usually Ariel Helwani, who is a ESPN MMA correspondent, very well-known guy and trusted source for MMA news. But he seems to think that the UFC is going to do the best that they possibly can in that situation, where they're going to track everywhere where Jacare and his team has been in the last several weeks, who they've been in contact with, when, where, high, and why, and how, within other fighters, such as train partners and so on and so forth. And they're going to continue to give extended testing to see if they can nip this in the butt. Jacare's fight, his fight got canceled. I think they might have a replacement fight. If not, maybe just got removed from the card. They got him in quarantine. His two coaches are in quarantine, and they're gonna figure things out and get things back to the way it was. But holy crap, dude! Talk about taking a 3-week break, finally becoming the first major sport to start trying to get back to normal, and then bam, somebody gets tested positive for COVID-19. That's wild.
I couldn't even imagine where to begin.
Like, did you
trying
know that?
to make sense of that. I don't watch UFC, man. I have no idea what you're talking about.
But did you know that one of the fighters and his team, his coaches, they had a 3-month long training camp. They show up I don't know if they stayed here in the States or they just flew in from Brazil recently. But they have it.
Whoops.
The day before the fight. That's wild. That's why I'm thinking during the 3-week suspension of that the UFC had, how often did they test all their fighters, especially ones that had events coming up? Or if they decided to, if it came out that they decided not to test until the day before the fight. Because whatever the situation is, it's going to have a huge impact on other sports. I fucking tell you what, man. It's like not even the fights itself, not even the live fighting itself coming back. It's the fact that somebody tested positive before the entire sport resumed. It's just crazy. Now you're looking at collegiate summer sports, fall sports, other sports. NASCAR is supposed to be coming back in a week or two. They're going to be thinking, okay, we need to, if the UFC, we don't know if the UFC has been testing every week, but we need to start getting preliminary checkups upon preliminary checkups upon preliminary checkups all the way into our scheduled return date. Because we cannot have this happen. It's scary, Josh.
That's a lot of testing.
Yeah. The worst thing that can happen is if not just sports, but other long-running businesses prematurely come back way too early.
Well, that's been...
And then we get another infectious wave hit because of it.
Yeah, that is definitely a topic we could dig deep into on another show that I haven't created yet. But
Joshua in transition.
Hey, that was a serious show, man. Serious show that I had to change the name of because I was getting really awkward questions.
Oh, I did not even think of that. I'm so sorry.
So I changed it to Josh's World, did a short series of episodes, deleted them, because you never know what can be used against you in a court of law. But right now, let's do what we're here to do. Let's talk about Money in the Bank.
Oh, hold on. You have an announcement to make. What did you share with me earlier today? Tell everybody. I know it's a work in progress, but I'll put a link to it after we go off the air on Twitter.
Ladies and gentlemen of the podcast world, I'm pregnant. Oh, and I made a website for the Backstage Slam. That's right. BackstageSlam.com is now a thing. So hopefully you'll go to it. And not only will you go to it, but you will bookmark it and visit it frequently. That way you can, keep up with everything we're doing right here at the Backstage Slam. I'm not sure exactly what kind of stuff it's going to be loaded up with.
Did you make that banner yourself?
Yeah. Except for the logo that you created. I just kind of stole that and added it.
Okay. I know this is kind of awkward to ask you on air, but it's legitimate creativity, so I'm going to take a stab at it. Is that how you really made it, or is that how it's cropped, the website cropped it to be? Because do me a favor.
As far as the stuff that's cropped out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the website tool that took all that stuff out.
Okay. Can you send me the original picture so that I can copy the dimensions on Photoshop and another banner that
Fits?
when it gets cropped on the website, that it all the information and details actually fit.
Yeah,
I'm not saying the banner's bad. I just noticed it.
Personally, I don't care for the banner because the background that you used for the Backstage Slam logo, I couldn't copy the texture to the other side.
Okay.
So
I mean,
one side is textured, and one side is just like smooth. And on a big screen, it's a little jarring, to be honest.
Yeah. The white part of the web page. Any way you can make that darker in gray?
Oh yeah, I could probably do that.
Like, you probably have to find the CSS code and then change the FFFFFF 6Fs, which is basically white, and then change the color code to a more darker gray. That way, nighttime viewing will be easier in the eyes, and then I think it might be perfect.
Okay.
See, you got a link to our Discord. You got a link to the Patreon. You got a link
to our Twitters.
With our pictures on it, to our Twitters. I like this sleek design. It's actually better than the WordPress blog that I have, even though it's just one page. But yeah, pretty snazzy. BackstageSlam.com. Go ahead. We got last week's episode 190 up there.
I was hoping it would update with the live episode as we did it, but unfortunately that does not appear to be. You know, putting this together, I was having really major issues getting that player embedded on the site, and I did not understand why, because I'm using Google Sites, and it has a little button that you press that just says embed, and if you go to Spreaker, the place where we're broadcasting through, and look at your shows, easy peasy, you just hit embed and it gives you the HTML code that you need to plug in. Just straight up plug and play. Except when I kept doing that, it wouldn't work. I was getting nothing. And I was doing this for 2 hours.
One of these days, you're going to have to give me the login so I can take a peek at the admin panel and see if I can.
Hey, if you got a Gmail account, I can just add you to the site supervisor.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
do that. Remind me when we go.
I had to share it with myself with the Semicore Studios account so I could get some of the images that are on there and link some of the YouTube stuff.
Nice. Okay.
Anyway, I found the problem, and my kids, they're kids, and they have kid stuff on there, like school stuff. And one of those school things was an add-on to Google called Grammarly. And what Grammarly does is it edits your writing and fixes your errors. Well, apparently, it doesn't recognize HTML code and decided, hey, we're going to fix this for you.
You had to turn it off.
Totally wrecked the code. So I eventually, as soon as I figured out what the problem was, I had to turn it off, and bam, everything was embedded.
You see, that's the reason why I went with WordPress over Google Sites. Was that when you make a blog on WordPress, everything is defaulted off. So for me, every time I post a new blog post, whether it's for the podcast or something, I have to add everything manually. Whereas you have the opposite problem. Everything is done for you. It's just that you have to turn off certain stuff before you post it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So once again, Josh created BackstageSlam.com. It's a work in progress. There's also a link now after I refreshed, a link to my personal blog, YoBro MMO. Because I was sick the last couple of weeks, we only have up until episode 187. So I have to, or 188. So I have to add tonight's show and the last 2 weeks' show up there. I will get that done as soon as possible. So check that out there. I'm also going to be adding movie, TV shows, and other review articles. I'm going to be writing. I'm going to be practicing my. Well, I don't have any journalism skills, but I'm going to try and see if I can become a better article writer by writing about various topics and stuff like that.
Okay.
Coming up very soon. It's something that just I woke up one day. It's like I'm interested in doing this, not just posting my podcast. So, yeah. So we got 2 websites out.
Well, you can also find semicorestudios.com. That's now a thing. Again,
yeah, that's right.
Although
a site that you haven't updated in years.
Yeah, I switched over to the Google Sites thing because I wasn't a fan of the blogger thing, especially after I started putting together the Backstage Slam website. I was like, oh, this is cool. I could do this for the other domain I have. And by the way, there's a third domain that I just reset up to head straight to Spreaker. So semicorepods.com will be the home of the Spreaker site for all of the Semicore podcasts. So I have 3 domains, and they're all up and running.
I want to make a new. I know it's your property, and I came into your property, but I am a graphic artist. I'm not a professional, and I never thought about it until now. Would you like it if I try to come up with some? If I design a couple of Semicore logos, you don't even have to use them.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man! I'm not an artist by any means. All I know is how to use a little bit of iPicky and
Microsoft Paint.
throw some things together. And don't get me wrong.
All right.
You've seen some of the logos that I've come up with. I don't think they're horrible by any means.
Hey, they do their job.
They do their job. And they kind of look a little stylish sometimes. Sometimes they look like absolute garbage. But at least I'm aware. And you know what else I'm aware of? We're almost 30 minutes into the show about Money in the Bank, and we haven't talked about the first match.
People miss me. They miss my ranting. Okay. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes.
All right, Money in the Bank is coming at you on the WWE Network this Sunday at some time. I'm not really sure. Is it starting at 6 with the pre-show and then 7 with the...
If they said it's live, it's a lie.
Yeah, last week I mentioned that someone had talked about some of the matches being pre-recorded or pre-taped, including Money in the Bank itself.
They have no choice but to do it pre-taped for all intents and purposes.
So,
in fact, I tell you what, the pay-per-views would work better if they did most of it pre-taped. Let's just be real.
That's what I'm hoping, that especially the Money in the Bank portion is pre-taped, so we get the cinematic style again.
I just wish we get that ESPN Sports Center Easter egg when they work their way up to the top of the Titan Towers. Oh, that'll be so fantastic.
It's going to be interesting. At the very least, it's going to be very interesting, and I can't wait to see it. But that's the Money in the Bank portion. We'll get to that much later. Right now, let's talk about the rest, okay? And quite frankly, when it comes to a show like Money in the Bank, you know what you're looking forward to, and you know everything else is just kind of there. So let's start off at the bottom.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page that I posted, screenshot that I posted on Discord, so I'm assuming it's match number 6 we're starting off with.
I was going to go with match number 8.
Oh, there's 8 matches?
Oh, we better start with the pre-show.
Oh, there's pre-show matches?
Yes, there's one listed.
Who is it? I'll add it. I'll add it to my picks right now.
Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro.
I'm gonna go with Cesaro. Okay, so
Cesaro?
I got 7 picks entered.
I'm, you know what? I'm going to go with Cesaro too. No real major rhyme or reason. I think now might be the time. Let's face it, if he wasn't released with everybody else, they have a reason to keep him around. And Jeff Hardy, probably not going to be so much around after his contract expires. So I'm going to go with Cesaro. And by the way, we when we're talking about picks, we have to mention the Discord at YoBro MMO. That's where you can join the conversation when it comes to wrestling here, as well as numerous other topics. We make our predictions there, and we put them in the predictions category. And there's also a place for news and other things. So
you just reminded me something. You just reminded me something that I forgot to talk about 6 weeks ago on the podcast.
6 weeks.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've been sick for 2 weeks, for 4 weeks, and I only been here for 2. But
that's fair.
I forgot until now. Okay. Okay. So, a very important question was asked. How come I changed the Discord from Backstage Slam to my Twitch? Okay. Here's the answer. Hardly anybody joined the Discord for some reason when I posted Backstage Slam Discord or whatever. So I used my my Twitch or my content creator name, which is YoBro MMO. It's also my Twitter name. Ever since I changed the name of the server to it, we started to get people, at least one person joining the Discord every couple of days. And I don't know why. My thought process was if I see, because I have over 75 servers on my Discord, right? And a lot of it is other content creators naming their servers after themselves, not after their community. So in the past, Josh, you remember we were the Pineapple Club?
Yeah.
That was our meme. We were memeing on the Bullet Club, but we love pineapples, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have much there on that, right? Well, when it was just the BSP, we only had 8 people in the Discord. Well, ever since I changed it to YoBro MMO, I started to get people from Twitch hitting the link in my Twitch bio on there, and now we're almost at 30 people on our server since we changed it 5 weeks ago. So that's why. Don't know why, but if you want to make a Discord for all your friends and whatever, and you have an online name, use your online name as your server name, and I don't know why it's more catchy to people, I guess. So that's the reason why.
Okay.
It sucks. I wish I could have kept it Backstage Slam, but I did some research and I figured, okay, let's try using my content creator name and see if more people would join, and it's working.
Can't hate on that. We're trying to.
I was gonna put semi-core, but then I was like, okay, it's gonna be just like Backstage Slam. I had to do something.
I'm not even gonna hate on that. You brought in a lot of people, man. I brought in some people. We brought in some people, and the audience, our friends circle has expanded in the Discord, and that's not a bad thing. So, yeah, okay, that's a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad everybody took you to task for it because, quite frankly, I was a little curious about that myself. I just didn't have the cojones to just come out and ask. So next match?
Hell yeah.
Okay, R-Truth versus MVP.
Okay, so that's match number 7. Okay. R-Truth versus MVP?
Yeah, Montel Vontavious Porter. Ever heard of him?
R-Truth. I haven't watched SmackDown in a while, and I only did live tweets yesterday after WWE has been cutting segments live on YouTube as they were airing on Fox.
Say what?
For some reason, WWE was quick with the YouTube uploads during SmackDown. Faster than I've ever seen them do it.
Huh.
So yeah, I haven't watched Raw and SmackDown since I've been sick, basically.
Okay.
So I didn't know. I'm gonna go with R-Truth.
Yeah, I'm also picking R-Truth. I think he deserves a win. Is that bad?
Oh,
Me too.
I just wish he had a big, at least one championship run.
Ben, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Thought I lost you for a second.
No,
Anyway,
I was saying I just wish he had one major championship run.
Yeah, I talked ad nauseum about how that could go. You know, finally being taken seriously. And I don't know.
He had a decent Impact or
Yeah,
TNA run.
yeah. I figured they could just
Very decent.
have somebody from Impact. So I'm going to go into it again. Have somebody from Impact say,
Just having-
Ron, this is not the truth. That this. Yeah, just Ron, this isn't the truth. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, the truth was, you're a world championship contender.
Just have Mike Tenay yelling in the background, "It's Ron the Truth Killings!" For some reason, Mike Tenay loves saying his name.
So have somebody call him out.
Yeah. I got
And
R-Truth.
I think that would be a good way to get him on track. I believe it was last week where I blew the minds of both Anna and Amber with letting them know Truth is 48.
Yeah.
It's 48 years
Dustin
old.
just turned 50. Dustin Rose just turned 50.
And yeah, the drastic
Jericho
difference
is 49.
in their physical. I mean, let's face it. Both. I mean, Dustin looks like 20 years older than Truth.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho looks like he's got a good 5 to 10 years on Truth. Truth looks like he's still in his 30s.
It looks like Truth looks like straight edge. Like his body looks like he doesn't drink alcohol at all. That's the big difference.
So before he hangs it up, I would like to see him be taken seriously
I
for
want to see him in the
a
U
minute.
or Intercontinental title. Because I know he will never get a Universal or a WWE title shot and win it and hold it for 24 hours. I want to see him have the US or IC title before he leaves.
I want to see him win the top title, WWE Championship.
Oh yeah, me too, but I don't see it happening.
People didn't see it happening for Kofi either, but it happened.
I did. I just didn't expect it to be last year.
And who was the one
Okay.
saying it for the longest time that, yeah, Kofi's going to be champion? Who's the one that spent 2 years prior to that saying Kofi's going to be
No,
champion?
you was on that
Who
since
was
we
that?
started the podcast.
I was on that since we started the podcast, and it's episode
Yeah.
191 plus a couple weeks that we kind of missed. So over 200 weeks, I've said, Kofi, he's going to be WWE champion one day.
Hmm.
And I also said, New Day's not breaking up, so there's that.
The
Yet to
day
be
is
seen.
coming.
Next up on this Money in the Bank discussion, so many things to talk about. So we're going to go with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The New Day, of which I'm the fourth member of, unofficially, are the champions taking on The Miz and John Morrison, the Forgotten Sons, and Lucha House Party. Guys that somehow survived the axe. Not that they're bad, it's just I figured if anybody was expendable, it might have been, them.
I'm surprised that they added the Forgotten Sons, because they are actually quite Forgotten Sons in NXT. I would have liked them to see, actually, they have been put into a situation like the Viking Raiders, where they go on like a 10-match win streak before seeing some serious competition.
And then one
unfortunately, Joshua. Yeah, unfortunately, Josh, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I think the Forgotten Sons are going to be treated as the next version of geez, I forgot their names. This is so terrible of me.
Sanity?
No, who was the Road Warriors wannabes?
Oh, the Ascension.
The Ascension, there you go. They're going to get the Ascension
fired, right?
treatment. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
But I'm going to go with the New Day. They're going to retain.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I am.
They're going to retain, but we don't see any dissension between John Morrison and The Miz yet. But I see the New Day holding on to the titles a little bit longer. I do not. I do see the people that's going to be taking the titles off of them. I think it's Heavy Machinery, no doubt. I think Heavy Machinery is going to get the Rocket Pack put on them next.
Oh, are they still a thing? Because every time a loved tag team comes from NXT, they seem to get broken up pretty quickly. And strangely enough, Otis is the breakout star of Heavy Machinery.
Mm.
But, with that being said, I am going to tell you this. The New Day. You know I love the New Day. I joined the team early on.
Uh-oh. I smell heel turn.
But they are, what, six-time tag team champions for SmackDown. What, twice on Raw? I basically what I'm saying is they're not going to be able to pick up another title win to go for that record title holds without losing. So I think for the sake of breaking a record, they are going to be dropping the titles only to pick them up again at a later date. Why am I so confident in this? Because I have absolutely no faith in the WWE when it comes to their tag team titles, and it's all just a matter of getting people they don't like off the history books. So,
to add on to that, I didn't want to say this because I didn't want to come off as being disrespectful to your boys, but I think that they got the titles during this entire quarantine period is just for name recognition alone, and I think that it sends a lot of positivity that this team, who's been at the forefront of positivity, actually be the champions in this time of need. I hate to say it. I hate to say paper champions, and I don't mean it in that way, but I think it was kind of necessary that these guys get put, on that pedestal, because it's very important to have, people remember, like, hey, times are bleak right now, but, we are still here for you. And to me, it wouldn't have made sense if Morrison and Miz, who I wanted to be champions right now, that's the reason they're not. That and the Miz was sick too, so
yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna be upset with what you said, but I am gonna say, well, remind you that remember when they broke the record for longest reigning tag team champions?
Mm.
And that story that came out with not only did they want to be considered the longest reigning, but also the team that held the most titles. I think we're still on that track, and to do that, you gotta lose them.
That political choice to keep them on that path was the main downfall of Gallows and Anderson and the whole Bullet Club revival being brought to WWE. That's the biggest reason why we never got AJ Styles, Gallows Anderson, and Balor together officially. All of that got sacrificed for the New Day title push.
They could have just done
that's what I believe.
A different show. That's what I don't get.
Their title reign lasted so long that even when they were on different brands, when they were on the same pay-per-views together, hanging around backstage, they couldn't tease it because it would lead to nowhere, and it would overshadow what they were trying to do with the New Day. And at that same time, Asuka had a longer women's title reign than the New Day had during that long run.
Oh, yeah. She broke Goldberg's streak.
Yeah. Which I was all for, by the way. But the tag team division suffered. A lot of people didn't get the... There were hot tag teams coming up from NXT, and they got not buried, but they got pushed aside for a year and a half.
They could fill a graveyard with NXT tag teams that didn't go anywhere.
Oh God, jeez, I you know my biggest bummer before we move on to the next match, American Alpha. Oh.
American Alpha, pour one out for American Alpha. Shorty G. He was in one of the greatest tag teams in a decade, and now he's Shorty G.
And I wanted the next Benjamin and Haas, and we're never going to get them again. Damn.
And I was a fan of the Vaudevillains, too. And the Ascension
Same.
could have been something. And
Same,
you know
but
what?
the revival became what the expectations of how good they were superseded the Vaudevillains, so I kind of forgave that notion of what happened to them.
But then the Revival, pour one out for the Revival, never got to do anything.
You see being the Elite recently?
I have not.
3 letters came back. FTR. That's all I'm going to say.
What a tease. And speaking of teases... Wait, no, I can't say that. That would be awful. Well, speaking of the Women's Championship match, the SmackDown Women's Championship match has Bayley taking on... I'm not familiar with this name. Tamina? Tamina?
Hold on. Why does Becky Lynch get to sit on her championship? Just because
when was
she's
the last
filming
time she defended it?
Just because she's currently filming a couple of projects? Come on.
No, she's not currently filming
the Raw
anything.
Women's
Nobody's
title
filming
scene
anything
is,
right now.
There's like nothing going on with the Raw Women's Championship scene.
Except for the
Literally.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah. While the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, or the SmackDown Women's Championship scene they're doing nothing with it too. Why? Because, oh, we're waiting for the right time to pull the trigger when Sasha Banks turns on Bailey once again for the upteenth time. And we finally get that big SummerSlam match that we always wanted to have for the both of them. Come on. Really?
Didn't they do that at SummerSlam? I swear they've had a match on every pay-per-view you can imagine.
People want to see that match at WrestleMania. Let's
I
be
don't want
real.
to see it at all, ever, period.
Yeah, people want to see. I don't care. I really don't care.
I seen
I really
it in
don't
a
care.
bunch of different ways. I'm ready
No,
to
I
not
want to
see
see
it again.
Sonya. Honestly, I want to see. I want to see Sonya Deville get a championship. She's like the best thing right now. It's like career renaissance for her right now. Like, she is reaping the benefits of this weird crowdless era of quarantine wrestling. And I'm really happy for her. She's probably the biggest hero in the LGBT wrestling community right now. She deserves major props with her TV work. The problem with that is WWE doesn't give two shits about her or anybody else. Why? Because they're resting on their laurels and they're just doing TV lazily, while the other company is putting out bangers on Wednesdays. I just don't understand the mentality. It's just crazy. Night and day, man. Night and day. But I'm happy for Sonya Deville. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to pick Bailey because let's be real. We got a 41-year-old Tamina who is at the tail end of her WWE career. Her contract's almost done. I think this is the biggest win of her career, and she's not going to win the title at all. If she does, we got another Jinder Mahal moment.
No, let's not get crazy. At least Tamina has some tenure to go
Who
with
expected
this
Jinder Mahal
match.
to beat AJ Styles, though? I didn't.
No, because there was absolutely no reason to. We talked about Jinder last week.
There's no reason for Tamina to beat Bailey.
Yeah, but again, at least she has some tenure. At least she has a reputation on screen as, a brute, as someone that can get the job done. Jinder, he won 2 matches on SmackDown, and one of them was the championship.
Okay.
It was a drastic change. At least in this situation, it's like, yeah, I guess. But it's not going to happen because I picked Bailey also.
Okay. Next match.
It is Seth Rollins trying to take the WWE Championship away from the Tree. Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre wins.
Completely agree. I thought you were going to ask what I meant by calling him the Tree for a second. And just because I can't let her live it down, I'm going to reiterate Anna, who sometimes appears on the Backstage Slam, said, and I quote, "I would climb Drew McIntyre like a tree." So make sure
People
this
said
message
the same
gets
thing
to Drew.
about Kevin Nash back in the day.
You should talk to our friend Hart Curtis and ask him the Waffle House Kevin Nash story. It's pretty enjoyable.
We gotta get him on the show. We gotta get him on the show.
We do. But he should probably start
He's
watching
busy.
more wrestling first.
He and his lady, they're building a house.
Yeah, they're going to build me an extra room. So when
That's
I
good for them.
get away from it all,
Good for them.
I'll have a place to stay. Next up, in the WWE Universal Championship match, we have Braun Strowman versus Bray. What, did we already do that one?
No, we didn't.
Okay, yeah. Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt in a what I can call a Obi-Wan versus Anakin moment. Because Braun was the Padawan and turned out he was much stronger than the Jedi Master that he was. I was watching a lot of Star Wars.
I watched their segment last night on SmackDown. Okay, this is basically how it is. Okay. Hey, I brought you into my family, but I ended up kicking you out. I ended up kicking everybody out. And then I started to wear a mask, and I became unstoppable. Hey, you want to join my family again? No. But I got these hands for you. That's it. That's basically the storyline. That's it. I don't care about this match. That's why, let me check. That's why I put no contest. I put in parentheses, draw / no one wins.
Funny because I thought you were going to be like, because
I could take
cares.
the cheap way and say Braun is going to retain or he's still going to be champion, but no, I'm going to be concise. No contest. This is going to be a match that goes from live action in the ring, and then we're going to have some supernatural light show happen. Bray is going to turn into the Fiend, and then we go from a traditional wrestling match, and the final bit of the match is going to be cinematically shot, and it's like, okay, what happened? There was no pinfall. Oh, the match is over? It's inconclusive? Nobody wins. To be continued. That's what I think.
Dun dun dun. Okay, I'll get my thoughts in there. I have Bray winning the Universal Championship. Why? Because, I mean, let's face facts here. Braun Strowman was never supposed to win it to begin with. Braun Strowman was a last-second replacement for Roman Reigns to take on Goldberg. So Goldberg wasn't going to be around. Basically, whoever was in that match with Goldberg was going to win. So now I think this is kind of resetting the ship, putting everything back on course.
You know, if I was booking WrestleMania, and if I had all the power, Josh, you know who I would have booked that match with Goldberg?
R-Truth.
No, Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle, that would have been...
I would have Matt Riddle, the current Universal Champion right now.
That would be crazy, and I think I'd love it.
Here's this small dude who's a legit MMA fighter, and he's beating up guys over 120 pounds heavier than him. He just beat up Goldberg.
Okay, dig it. I picked Bray.
Nice. All right. Time
now
for
we
the
have
final
the
two matches.
Money in the Bank ladder matches that are going to be happening concurrently. So, in the women's match, we have Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax.
Let's be real. This is the
Evans,
only match
Carmella.
that we're interested in.
Yeah, basically.
Like, if they had a Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose match, I would be interested in that because it has turned into such a great storyline, the best storyline in WWE right now. But it's not happening. So the Money in the Bank and the gimmicks that they have for this, it's just, I'm very interested.
Okay, we'll probably see more of that in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match with
Can
Daniel
we save
Bryan.
that one for last? Because I'm really interested to see if we're going to differ on the pick. I think I know who you're going to pick. I want to predict who you're picking for both, and then I want you to predict.
No, I'm not picking Otis.
Okay. Did you see my picks already?
I saw them. I don't remember what you put though.
Okay.
And I guess I will not look at them.
Okay. Can I guess who you're gonna pick, and you can guess who I picked, and then we reveal them?
Okay, I have no idea who I'm going to pick right now.
Okay.
You know
so
how I am. I wait until the last second.
I think you're gonna go with AJ Styles, and I think you're gonna go with Shayna Baszler. I think that's who you're gonna pick.
Well, let's find out.
No. I
together.
changed my mind. You're gonna go with Asuka and AJ Styles.
Let's find out together, shall we? As we break down.
Well, who
the
do you
women's
think I
Money in
picked?
the Bank ladder match. Oh, who do I think you're going to pick? I think you're going to pick Asuka because you have a Japanese thing. And
You made it sound so. You made it sound so suggestively. That
okay, fetish. Is that better?
Hey, just say Asian, okay?
Well, I figured I'd be specific and say it's a very specific Japanese thing. You know, because you like Japanese wrestling, not because you're into like whatever.
Okay, I thought that's what you meant. Let's be. Oh. Okay.
I'm keeping things professional, man. Except I use the word fetish.
Just in case you're wondering where Josh was taking with this, okay? I've been with Korean women more than any other race.
I had no idea.
That's why Josh said that. He was. Anyway, whatever. Go ahead, Josh.
On to the wrestling. I think you're going to pick Asuka because you love New Japan Wrestling and its associates. And I think you're going to pick... It's not going to be King Corbin again. You're not going to go with Daniel Bryan or Rey Mysterio.
I got lucky with King Corbin the last time in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, shouldn't have happened.
I went with Nakamura, and then I changed at the last second.
I'm going to go ahead and say... You're going to pick Aleister Black. So... Let's break this down.
Okay, I actually picked Aleister Black and Shayna Baszler.
I guess I should have realized you were going to go for Shayna. Dang it. Now let's talk about the why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, let's be real here. Carmella's not going to win.
Yeah.
Dana Brooke is not going to win. So that leaves 4 possible winners: Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Lacey Evans, and Nia Jax.
Nia Jax is a walking time bomb. I wouldn't trust her. I wouldn't trust her with my safety at this point. No offense, Nia. You know, I love my Polynesians. I'm part Polynesian, but holy crap, you're a danger. I'm sorry. It's my opinion. I'm allowed to say it. I don't hate you. But Jesus, you almost ended Kairi Sane's career. Dana Brooke, honestly, I think Dana Brooke would do better on AEW. I'm just going to leave it at that. Lacey Evans will be the future champion, just not now. Carmella, it's between Asuka and Shayna Baszler. They both have unfinished business with Becky Lynch, and it's down to those two. I just think that Shayna Baszler is going to steal the win from Asuka. I think Shayna Baszler gets taken out halfway through the match, and she shows up right at the end and steals the match from Asuka. I think WWE inadvertently, Josh. You remember when they turned Edge and they started to coin the phrase,
the ultimate opportunist?
Yes. I think that's what Shayna's going to be doing.
Okay, so you pick Shayna?
Yeah.
Well, here's how I break it down. I don't think Shayna needs Money in the Bank by any means. She is an ass kicker to be sure. And the thing is, a ladder match is kind of the perfect place to get somebody over on her without her losing. So I'm going to count her out. That leaves 3 possible winners for me: Asuka, Nia, and Lacey. Lacey, you know what? I honestly would be surprised if she was ever a champion. And I really don't see her... The only reason I see her doing Money in the Bank is to, like, carry around a pretty briefcase. And quite frankly, I don't want to imagine that being a thing. Because it would be kind of like King Corbin winning it, you know. Oh, here's the thing, and it's going to be nothing. So I'm counting out Lacey. So to me, that leaves Asuka and Dana. Asuka, she's gotten a lot of face time. And I think she will be taking on Becky at some point for the championship. But I don't think she's going to be cashing in a Money in the Bank contract to do it. So unfortunately, just to piss everybody off, I see Nia Jax taking the Money in the Bank contract. And it's seriously just to be a troll job to fans like us. And what I also see is Becky involved in a good match, and again, for the sheer purpose of, you know, trolling the fans, Nia cashes in when she doesn't need to. And she's not going to cash in, you know, we're going to have a match in 2 weeks. No, it's going to be a straight up Seth Rollins WrestleMania type deal where everybody's down and she's like, yep, now's the time. And it's going to be a very undeserved championship. So, as much as it pains me to say it, I'm picking Nia. And don't get me wrong, Nia, girl, you look good. But your moves don't. Anyway, talking about the men now. Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, King Corbin, Otis, and AJ Styles. I think, without a doubt, we can take out Otis, King Corbin, and Rey Mysterio, cutting the field in half immediately. They're going to get some good spots in. It's going to be fun watching them, but they are not winning, in my eyes. So, Ben, take it away. Where do you see this going?
A lot of people are going to be leaning towards AJ Styles as the safe pick, followed by Daniel Bryan. You got a comeback of the year story for Rey Mysterio if he ends up getting this. King Corbin, for all intents and purposes, is I don't know, WWE's top heel for whatever. Otis is the hot hand right now, but Aleister freaking Black, dominant run in NXT, hardly been beaten. He's been protected very well since coming up to the main roster, mostly due to they hardly used him. He takes this match. He gets the Money in the Bank briefcase. He can lose as much as he wants. I don't care, because he can cash in for a championship opportunity. And let's face it, he was a badass in NXT. Imagine what type of badass he can be on the main roster. This guy's money. A lot of people saw that his character could be the next Undertaker with his dark entrance and all that stuff. I don't know. It seems like they're trying to turn him into something different because his promos have been off balance. But for me, if we're talking an evolution in making the next big star, mainstream big star, we got to put it on Aleister Black. And that's why I'm going to go with him.
I wish I had more to add to that, to be honest. Because that's who I'm picking. Aleister Black.
Ooh.
You convinced me. AJ Styles probably was going to be my safe pick. But If he wants a championship match, he'll get a championship match. Aleister Black, I see him. You know what? If I were writing for WWE, I know you're listening, Vince, so play this for one of your writers and get him to knock this out for me. Unless you want me to do it myself, then you can reach me at Skit Comic. Just slide into my DMs. Anyway, I see Aleister Black cutting that promo where he's
that
like,
contract 6 figures too, by the way.
You know what that works? Yeah. Talk to my agent, Ben. I want to see the promo where Aleister's in his room talking about a lot of people have knocked on my door and I've fought them and I've made them all go away, yada, yada, yada. And then it closes with holding up the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he says, "But now I'm the one doing the knocking."
That sounds so corny, but doable. That's a Vince thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could go with that, or it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I do. Just know at the end of the day, my wife is hotter than yours. For people who don't know, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega are married IRL. So, hey, it works. It could work.
Then we split screen with CM Punk, and he's like, "Nah."
Please.
Aleister Black,
Could you
CM
imagine?
Punk,
Oh my
who has
God.
the hottest wife? Find out at SummerSlam.
That is a WrestleMania match I would love to see. Aleister Black versus Punk. Oh. You gotta remember, Punk is skinny, way skinnier than before.
The winner gets to declare their wife the hottest. You know what? That is so stupid. I would still watch it. It would be a great match. So, that's our picks for Money in the Bank. You can watch it this Sunday on the WWE Network.
The coronavirus has destroyed our pay-per-view predictions league.
Yeah.
Because we had to skip 2 WWE pay-per-views because they did not come out with the final cards until the day of the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. So there was no time to make any predictions on it. So we were all doing it for fun anyways, but I kind of just it kind of just ruined the keeping score, you know?
Yeah, I know. Last week on the show, I said that we probably wouldn't really keep track of these picks because some of it's, like you said, it was pre-recorded. And spoilers are apparently out there, and it would put people at a... I mean, it's one thing to check the Vegas odds, which we don't do, but looking at some of the records, I'm sure some people
Somebody that got kicked out of the league did, but I don't want to get into that.
So that's one thing, before it airs. But if it's pre-recorded and people get a hold of the spoilers, that's something else entirely. That is cheating, like big-time cheating. Not because even the Vegas odds makers can be wrong. Not often, but it's not like they nail every pick every time. But there's still a chance for that swerve at the end, and that's one of the things I always went for with my picks. I'm like, there's going to be a big swerve, and you're like, there can't be a big swerve in every match. And like, yes, there can. It's Vince McMahon, and that's how I would generally make my picks on the spot every time we do the show, because I don't want to put too much thought into it. I don't want to do my homework. All I do is watch the shows. By the way, go ahead.
I got a quick question before we start to end the show. What is the biggest, before you die, what is the biggest thing you hope the pro wrestling world can achieve before you leave this earth? For me, it's for me, it's the G1 becoming open promotion, where the G1 field is filled by at least one or two people from the top world promotions. Like one or two people from WWE, one or two people from AEW, one from Impact, one from ROH, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that before I die.
That would be pretty cool. And who knows, maybe it could be in the books one day. If the rumors, which we've already said weren't true, but if the rumors were true about Disney or Fox or ESPN, Disney owns both of them, so it doesn't really matter, is interested in buying WWE, and if Vince McMahon is interested in selling to them, by the way, Triple H sold like $2 million worth of stocks. If that did happen,
You know why he would sell, right?
No idea.
You know why? You know why Vince would
sell?
sell? Because all of his skeletons in the closet are starting to come out. How much you want to bet the next couple of years we're going to see Vince McMahon in a whole bunch of scandals coming to light? And the first one we're going to see is all having to do with manipulating stocks because of the XFL. And that's just going to create a really, really press image for him.
This is a guy that went on trial, federal court, for steroid pushing. I don't think he much cares about his image.
You know the Dark Side of the Ring episode with Jimmy Snuka that came out recently? Okay, I haven't too. Me neither. I'm waiting for the season 10. Well, just last week, there were reports of Jimmy Snuka's court case and Vince McMahon's involvement in it being brought back to light.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, the snowball's starting to roll. I didn't read too much into it because I kind of already knew about all that stuff, but watch. They're going to bring that up. They're going to bring up the Hulk Hogan steroid stuff. They're going to bring up the situation with how he dealt with Owen Hart's death, the Chris Benoit stuff. They're going to start tearing Vince McMahon apart. It's scary. That's where I think the basis of all this selling WWE talk is coming from.
Okay, that's an interesting take. It's especially since it is a terrible time to sell stock because, everything's so low.
He owes Oliver Luck $20 million. Oliver Luck is the CEO of the XFL. He ran the XFL for Vince.
Yeah.
A lot of people never got paid. And people are still waiting for their paychecks.
Wow. It's certainly raining crap for Vince McMahon right now. And
July 6th is the deadline for people to start coming forward to buy the XFL, rights to the XFL. And the rumor mill is that Mark Cuban is the top interested party. I hope somebody buys the XFL and keeps it going, even if they have to change the name. So there is hope.
If they buy the rights to it, I'm sure they'd keep the name.
Yeah, there is hope for a spring football league going forward. It's just the corona. I'm telling you right now, even some people in the major sports business said that if the coronavirus never happened, the XFL would still lose money because they're trying to earn a TV deal, but it would have stuck around long term. It just sucks that this happened.
Yeah.
So, but then again, reports are starting to come out that when they put the rights and the property of the XFL for sale, $30 million of WWE stock WWE was actually a stock owner of Alpha Entertainment. WWE Inc. Vince McMahon lied. And it's an ongoing investigation right now. That's as much about it as I know. Vince McMahon said WWE has nothing to do with the XFL. He lied. Before the season even started. Because as it turns out, WWE owned $30 million worth of shares in Alpha Entertainment. So, there you go.
Was Alpha Entertainment a publicly traded company already?
I don't know, but he supposedly sold his own shares to create Alpha Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And then during that process, there was a lot of stock owners who filed to sue Vince. Like I think it was a Oklahoma Fire Department or whatever. Their money went missing, and they tried to sue Vince for it. And I don't know where that court case ended up going, or if it's still ongoing and it's just frozen, because that's how rich litigation works.
And courts aren't very much in session in a lot of places.
Oh yeah. Right now, especially. So it's a mess, man. It's a political and business nightmare. Not like Vince not only lied before bringing back what was a really good sports thing that he actually got redemption for, but Mother Nature had other plans, and then all of a sudden all this shady stuff is starting to come to light. And
now what I also heard was that when he sold off some of his stocks, there was some sort of deferment that he could take the cash now and surrender the stocks later. So he might not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know much about
I read conflicting reports on that, so that's why I never mentioned on it. But yeah, I mean, he was still set to lose money, just not this much money, because they stopped after half the season.
Mm-hmm.
And now look at WrestleMania. WrestleMania cost him, the amount of money he lost with WrestleMania is at least 15 times more than what he lost with the XFL this season.
Oh yeah, because
so that's the big reason why he pulled the plug on the XFL, is because not only that stopped, but he didn't get the gate, he didn't get the big stadium crowd, all that money gone. Mm-hmm. So he probably went into panic mode, and that probably is why he's like, okay, maybe I think I should start selling this company and cash out.
Would you say it's fair to believe that WrestleMania was held on 2 nights because there was a conversation that went like, well, we can't get the gate, so let's milk them for 2 nights?
You and I have been talking about having WrestleMania for 2 nights since 2018.
Yeah.
You and I was surprised that New Japan did it for Wrestle Kingdom last year.
Mm-hmm.
First. So it wasn't like it came out of nowhere. It's just that it was surprising that they went 2 nights. But
it kind of was
out of
nowhere. We didn't expect it to be like, oh, and by the way, this weekend it's going to be 2 nights. Okay, there was a little more advanced notice than that, but not much. It's not like they spent 3 months going, and over 2 nights, WrestleMania is going to, rock your socks off or whatever they're going to do. The thing is, it was very short notice that people found out that it was going to be 2 nights. And yeah. I think that was the biggest surprise from the WrestleMania season. A 2-night WrestleMania. And I thought it was pretty cool. Each night was exactly like we said. It should be headlined by a different championship. It would be cool if one of those headlining acts was a women's championship. But that's neither here nor there. I don't think this WrestleMania season had the star power to close the show for the women's division. They didn't have the story that was being built up since Mania that warranted that. So, unfortunately, it was lower on the card, but we still got really awesome stuff for both nights, and I'm not complaining at all about WrestleMania at all this year. I enjoyed both nights because everything was exactly what you thought it was going to be. The lower card stuff was lower card stuff, and the interesting stuff was the interesting stuff. Everything did its part. Although
it was okay. It was okay.
It would be
I will
nice.
say this, though. I will say this. The two cinematically shot matches, if this wasn't the way that they were planning to do those two matches at the big stadium, then those matches would have failed. So,
well, one of those matches wouldn't even taken place.
Yeah.
John Cena, Bray Wyatt, I don't think that would have been a thing. And Taker, he saved. I hate to say it about the guy, but that was the most interesting match he's had in like a decade. And it's not really through any fault per se of his own. It's just time catching up to a big guy. And to bring this back around to Disney buying WWE, I will close it with this thought. The only reason I thought it would even be considered truth, the only merit that I put behind it is Disney has already bought everything else from my childhood, right? Marvel, Star Wars, and stuff they already owned. It makes perfect sense for them to own the WWE brand as well, because then they would basically own everything I liked as a kid.
Well, they would also have... That would put an end to the WWE network. I don't think Disney... No, I don't think Disney would keep it, because they have Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus currently holds UFC content. WWE would fit perfectly there.
But it would also be another subscription they could charge for.
Yeah. But I think if Disney did buy it, I don't think that they would get... I don't think they would buy WWE.com. I think they would shift it onto their own stuff, their own brand.
I would think they would keep it because it's a standalone revenue stream. Why bundle it with, ESPN and UFC? Because that would just
what if they
cut
labeled
down the potential customers.
Okay, what if they what if they took the website WWE Network and put it as a linked option that is linked into the ESPN Plus or Disney Plus account? But just keep the website as is right now and just have it linked to their Disney's own services.
I would love that. I already have Disney Plus, so if I got WWE Network content with, a Disney Plus subscription, that would be awesome. But if they were like, get all three for $20, I would consider doing that. What if they said, okay, you get Disney Plus, you get Hulu, and you get ESPN for $30 a month? Are you in? If you get four major content streams with Disney, Hulu, ESPN, and WWE, $30 a month if you bundle them all.
See, here's the thing. Basic cable pack, that's reaching basic cable.
Reaching, but not
price.
Getting there.
That's nationwide. Like $35-$40 is like the median for across the entire nation, right? For the most basic digital cable package. That's kind of dangerous. That's a lot of the reason why people are giving up cable is because that there's apps that actually have TV shows that they have that you can watch for free, albeit maybe 6 to 12 hours later.
and
with the option
ads.
of getting a premium cable of their own choosing, such as Hulu Plus, Netflix, so on and so forth. But
Well, geez, I have all of these streaming services. I have Disney, I have Hulu, I have Amazon, I have Netflix, WWE Network.
I didn't check the New Japan thing. Did you temporarily put that down since they have no content?
I did. They weren't
Okay,
supplying me
good.
with anything.
Good. That's another thing I failed to ask you before I got sick. Okay.
I wish, in fact, Ring of Honor for Honor Club. Last year, I subscribed for the year-long subscription because it was the only way to get the shows, the live shows live. And I thought that sucked, but at least I would have access to the archives too, right? Nope, turns out that wasn't the case. You don't get everything with it. Not in the way... There were some definite, things that I wanted to see that weren't there. But it turns out like a week after I canceled, because it was automatically charged, and I was like, hey, I thought I canceled that. It was like $200 for the year or something. Anyway, I'm getting off point here. They added, there are a lot of good content for that price. I don't know if you can do month to month for the big Honor Club Premium or whatever they call it, but now it seems like I was a year too early in subscribing, and I kind of want to do it again, but I don't want to do it again. So It's a good thing we have alternative methods to watching their shows live. Unfortunately, as it stands right now, there aren't any.
Yeah.
So, that's the world we live in. The wrestling world, where there are no fans. Where WWE is doing a more cinematic approach to wrestling. The world's turned upside down, ladies and gentlemen.
We will be back next week talking about Money in the Bank and whatever else comes up in pro wrestling. In about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, we're going to be doing our All Elite Wrestling All In Double or Nothing pay-per-view prediction show. So be on the lookout for that. You guys can follow Josh on Twitter at SkitComic. You can follow me on Twitter at YoBroMMO. You guys would like to subscribe to us on Patreon for just $1, $5, $10, or $20 a month, please feel free. Every bit that you are able to support us with monthly, it goes a long way and is very much appreciative. But we're only asking for $1 a month. It goes a long way. Go ahead and subscribe to us at www.patreon.com/YoBroMMO. You guys can also follow the BackstageSlam.com to our brand new website that Josh just put up earlier today, where we'll be putting up widgets of every single BSP episode via Spreaker, and you will get a link to YoBroMMO.wordpress.com, which is my personal blog where I also archive all of the podcasts, whether it's in MP3 or YouTube video format, as well as any other future projects and personal articles that I'm going to be writing and blogging about on there. So both websites are currently in construction, so we will leave links to it in the description of the podcast, whether it be on audio or video, if links are available.
And don't forget to rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to this fine podcast, and join us each and every week here Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, and whatever time it is in Hawaii, like noon or
4 p.m.
It's like 6 a.m. there or something.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
We're 6 hours behind you.
So,
Instead
to
of
get this
5.
straight, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
That just about does it here for the Backstage Slam. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out and listening tonight. WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, they might not have any audiences, but we have you, and we are so happy that you are taking some time to spend with us, listen to us talk about all things pro wrestling. With that being said, I'm going to hit the music. I said I'm going to hit the music. There we go. And I want to just thank you again for being here. I'm Josh. That's Ben, and there's only one thing left to say. Say it.
Too sweet.